What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports, back again with another one. We got a big fight on tap Saturday night featuring two champions in the welterweight division. In one corner, we have the IBF welterweight champion, Jaron Ennis, who's undefeated and is the widely recognized best fighter in the welterweight division. He'll be putting his title on the line versus fellow champion Emantias Stanionis, who holds a belt in the WBA. This fight will take place in Atlantic City, New Jersey on the boardwalk. This city has hosted big fights back in the 90s. If you remember Arturo Gatti versus Mickey Ward, that fight took place in Atlantic City, New Jersey on the boardwalk. Bernard, the executioner Hopkins, had several big fights on the boardwalk. Floyd Mayweather Jr. made his debut on pay-per-view as a main event fighter when he soundly defeated, put on a masterclass performance against the late Arturo Gatti. Now this fight is destined to be a fight of the year. Sometimes when people talk about a fight that's going to be a fight of the year, sometimes it don't live up to the hype. You know, people think it's going to be one thing and it turns out to be a little less exciting than people thought going in. I don't think this fight's going to fall in that category. I do think that Ennis is the truth. Early on in his career, he was being compared to the great Roy Jones Jr. That's how talented he is. Very good jab. He was shown to be a very versatile fighter that can fight on the outside and on the inside. Very fast punches, variety of punches he could throw. He could punch with his opponent. He could catch his opponent with punches that they don't see. Had fast hands. He had what you call fast twitch muscle. Very twitchy fighter. But since he stepped up in competition, he's been getting hit a little bit more often. The jab has not been as consistent as it was when he fought lesser opponents. Maybe he was bored in his last couple of fights, or maybe just the fact that before his last fight, he was hella inactive, man. He was fighting like once a year. So when he did get in the ring, he was so eager to put on a great performance and pick up where he left out before he had become inactive, that maybe he pressed and tried to make things happen and therefore led to mistakes on the defensive end. So we will see what happens and we will see what transpires. But Stanionis is the most consistent fighter in the welterweight division. You know what you're going to get with him. He's going to bring his lunch pail to the ring, man. He's coming forward. He's letting his hands go. He's coming with smart pressure. He's going to the body. He's throwing hooks. He's got a good jab. His defense is sound. He's very good in a lot of areas. He's not great in any area. He's just a solid, consistent, pedal to the metal type of fighter, man. So Boost got to be on top of this game. We got to see the Boost that fought Castillo Clayton. We got to see the Boost that fought Sergey Lipinets. We got to see that version of Boost. If we get the Boost that we seen the last three fights, it's going to be a great fight, but it's going to be a fight that could go either way. I like Boost by decision in a very close fight, 7 rounds to 5. Wouldn't be a bit surprised if we get a split decision, man. It's going to be one of them fights where I think early on, Boost has the edge. In the middle rounds, Stanionis' smart pressure takes over. In the championship rounds, Boost wins enough of the championship rounds to eke out a decision. Now, if Boost do Stanionis like he did Villa and Lipinets and Clayton, then maybe it was because he was bored and he was not fighting often enough, and he accumulated a lot of rust, and he wanted to put on vintage performance. Like I said, pick up where he left out when he was fighting more frequently on Showtime. Maybe that is the case. Maybe it's a case of, the better the competition is, the better I am. I was fighting down to my competition. So a lot of questions going to get answered about Boost Ennis this Saturday night. Can't wait for the fight. It's going to be a great matchup. I think Boost is going to have to establish the jab, double up on the jab, control distance, sit down on his punches when it's time to sit down on his punches. Fight in the pocket on your terms. Don't just come in there and be looking to go to war like you did in the last Karen fight. If you do that with Stanionis is a much harder puncher than Karen. Stanionis is much more consistent in that style of fighting than Karen. Karen was kind of fighting outside his comfort zone in the second fight, as he was on his bicycle in the first fight. In the second fight, he was much more aggressive. Stanionis' middle name is aggressive, so he's going to be right in his comfort zone fighting that style that boosts fights him the way he fought Karen in the rematch. So we will see what happens, and We will see what transpires. But again, I like Boots by decision in a very, very close competitive fight. I think he established the jab early on. I think early on we see the Boots that we saw early on when he was looking spectacular and getting compared to Roy Jones. But I do think Stanionis' pressure, smart pressure, will begin to close the gap, and he will start to get to Boots, and he will seduce Boots into a firefight. And I think that's when Stanionis will have his moments, as he is the more effective fighter in that type of fight. I think Boots will hold his own in that type of fight, but Boots is kind of a guy, when he fights that style, his defense seems to fall by the wayside. And I think that will be to Stanionis' advantage if he fights that style of fight. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. Follow me on TikTok at JB Sports New Media. Follow me on Twitch at JB Sports My 72351. Follow me on my YouTube channels at JB Sports The Man, The Myth, The Legend 9656, and at JB Sports The Man, The Myth, The Legend 8000. And like, share, and subscribe to JB Sports The Man, The Myth, The Legend. And I holla.